one question I wanted to talk to you about, which is a more serious conversation, and that is, we're going through a lot of racial unrest, stuff with police brutality right now, and I've talked to some, and I tell people, Joe, I grew up playing basketball, which means I grew up around big black guys a lot, and I didn't even in my experience, and I count many black guys, big dudes, 6'5" and taller, as very good friends of mine. And even though I had very good friends like that, I did not appreciate sometimes the fact that when you're that big and intimidating looking, you got to behave a little bit differently. Like I have a friend who said, if I go out running at Memorial Park in Houston at night, I got to be really careful about what I'm doing because people are intimidated by me. So I really wanted to ask you this question, Joe, because you're a big, strong, intimidating guy. I mean, you smile all the time, which is good. But tell us from your perspective, kind of over the past 3 or 4 months, like how you're viewing some of this stuff, like the George Floyd situation, the Breonna Taylor situation, and some of these other situations.
Well, I've been more concentrate on my son.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, and I teach him the same thing that my parents taught me, and I'm so glad that my parents taught me this. Everyone is not racist.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that my parents taught me that. But also they taught me more of this than anything. Love everybody.
Yeah.
To me, it don't matter what color you are, that doesn't matter. So what I'm doing now, I'm driving that to my son and say, son, if this person is racist, don't mean the next person is racist.
Yeah.
But it is kind of uncomfortable. Not only do I got to talk to my son about not having unprotected sex or having sex, I got to talk to him about if he get pulled over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shouldn't be a conversation I should have with my son.
You know how many conversations, Joe, my son is 17, just turned 17 last week. We live in a very nice neighborhood in Houston. You know how many conversations I've had with him about what he's supposed to do when he gets pulled over by the cops? Zero. Because I don't have to do that.
And I told my son, I told my son, the police tell you get out, son, and do 20 push-ups, get out and do 20 push-ups.
Yeah.
Do them, get back in the car, and call me and let me know what happened.
Yeah.
I said, son, this is exactly what I told him, so I go on record. I told my son, the police pull you over, let down your driver window and your passenger window. Turn your interior light on, put your hands on your steering wheel, and wait till he comes and give you commands to move from there.
Yeah.
If he asks you to get your license, ask him, say, sir, can I reach for my license and get him there?
Mm.
That's how you communicate with him.
Mm.
That's how you communicate with him. So how you communicate with him, with the police officer. And so that's a conversation that I shouldn't have to have with my son.
Yeah.
But the times bring that on that's what I have to do. That's the way times are. So I tell him, I say, son, listen to the police officer. Whatever he asks you to do, do it. If you want to search your car, let him search your car. Just do it. Because son, I want you to get home.
Yeah.
Now we had all the other legal stuff and the inappropriate behavior that he had laid on. But at the end of the day, don't try to be a tough guy.
Yeah.
So me and him had this conversation several times, and actually I'm gonna call him today, and I'm actually have this conversation with him again because it's something that's very important. But at the end of the day, Brian, I'm glad that it doesn't change my mentality when it comes to my relationship with you.
Yeah.
Tony Baroni, Jimmy Smith, guys, Caucasian friends that I have that I know that don't have that mentality.
Yeah.
And just it's like everything else, man. It's just life.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me because that same person, I'm gonna smile with them. I'm gonna shoot the breeze with them. I tell people all the time, I'm 47 years old, and I never ever in my life met a stranger.
Yeah.
Never. I wake up every day saying I'm gonna find a stranger, and I can't find one.
I love that.
So it doesn't matter how people are. They can have a Trump and Pence flag on their car, or they have a Biden and Harrison flag. I'm gonna treat them still the same. It doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, when I face God, God is not going to criticize me or punish me for the way they treated me.
Yeah.
He's going to punish me the way I treated them. So that's the mentality that I have about everything about the day. So, bro, it's not like it's not like I don't want to go on record and say this cop was wrong in Minnesota or this cop was wrong in Louisville, Kentucky. That's at the end of the day, both families suffer.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor family suffered as much as the cops family suffered.
Yeah.
So it's a bad situation. So both sides of the situation is bad. I just hope and pray that we can just get back as a country, that we can just be like, it doesn't matter what color we are. Yeah. We're all Americans. Because man, that's one thing about us, man. We have been a strong country. It went through 9/11 to all type of stuff. Yeah. So I know we can do it. And I'm not sitting on here saying it's Trump's fault. I'm not saying it's Obama's fault. I'm not saying it was George Bush's fault. It's at the end of the day, it's about us as people.
Yeah.
Got to get it right.
Yeah.
Because we are the United States of America. Because Brian, I can't influence you to be a certain way, Captain. So I can't blame my mentality on Obama, or I can't blame my mentality on Trump.
It's got to be on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to be me. Because that was the case, then you know what? I'm not taking Brian interview today because he's Caucasian. That'd have been stupid. That'd have been stupid of me.
Yeah.
No, but you know why? Because that's not my mentality.
Yeah.
So your mentality tells the truth about you. You know, people say, well, I hear people all the time, well, now I know how my friends feel now because, you know, Facebook, people put a lot of negative stuff on Facebook. Some people say, well, now I know how my friends feel. I tell people all the time, to a certain extent, we all are racist to a certain extent.
Yeah.
We all are racist. Like, I might feel like, well, Brian is more privileged than me.
Yeah.
Or Brian might say, hey, you know, well, he's a black, he's a better athlete because he was black. You know, so to a certain, but I'm not at a point of racist where I'm not racist to the point as I just hate a certain color.
Yeah.
Now, I might have racist thoughts about, well, Brian got the job over me because he's white.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that can be racist or not. It's just a mentality that we have. Or I might say, hey, but vice versa. I mean, you might say something about me that people might not think is racist. But I thought I'd never say this, but the University of Texas coach put it the best about his statement he made about that on Saturdays, you know what I'm saying? That we'll cheer for the black athletes, but also let's have that same respect for them off the court, off the field as well.
See, that's something that's bothered me for a while is we look up to these athletes, many of whom are black.
Yeah.
And they're heroes on Friday night or Saturday or Sunday. But afterwards it's like, well, now we forget about them. You know, in some ways it's what we do with some of the military veterans. When they're over there in combat, they're heroes, and then they come back and they have problems and they need help, and we forget about them. And so, you know, Joe, and I don't know what you think about this, but the way I think about race now is as follows. I'm looking at you on video right now, okay?
Uh-huh.
I can tell you're black. I can tell your skin's darker than mine. You can tell I have blonde hair. I just don't think it means anything as far as whether you're a good or a bad person, right? And I know plenty of black guys that are great guys, but not all of them are great guys. And just like you know plenty of white dudes that are probably great guys, but some of them aren't great guys. So the point is, you know, my view is that the pigment of your skin shouldn't have anything to do with the content of your character, whether you're a good or bad person. And so I try to tell people that I base my decisions on whether I like somebody or not, on whether they're a good person or not. And that's it, right?
And bro, you know the fun thing about me and you?
What's that?
I mean, you're in the same boat. We have it the toughest because, for example, let me just give you an example. Say I'm with some of my black buddies.
Yeah.
Say we at Bombshell. And I see you, hey, Brian, what's going on, Baba? Hey, you doing all right? And they be like, I mean, you talk to the white guy, like, and vice versa with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you know why? Because we are so versatile, and we been so used to dealing with both cultures. To us, it's like I don't look at him being a white guy.
It ain't no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just my buddy over there, man. What's
Yeah,
going on? That's my
yeah,
man. That's my guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So me and you catch it more of a popular heat than anybody else, because some people, like some of my guys I grew up with have never ever dealt with a Caucasian person ever in their life.
Exactly.
Now I'm talking about not. The only way they dealt with them is probably through a job interview, and that's it. But as dealing with them, as going out to eat with them, and like in our case, man, we sweated together and fought together, and they are not used to that, so they looking at him like, say, no, he's a good dude, man. He's a down to earth person. But so I mean, you catch it more probably tougher than in our friend does, because
I'll give you a great example of this, Joe, and I've told this story before. When I joined the Corps of Cadets after I stopped playing basketball, I had some friends that grew up in small towns that had never been around a single black person their entire life. And they were dropping N-bombs left and right, using the N-word. And I turned to them and I said, stop saying that shit around me. You want to say that when I'm not around, you can say that when I'm not around, but that's not the way I grew up. I don't like hearing that. And they looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
Because nobody had ever said that to them before. And it's not that they were bad people. It's not that I was any better than anybody else. It's just that we had different life experiences. So when they were growing up, they just didn't know any better, you know? And it's the same thing. Like, I think people don't realize that there's black folks that have never been around white folks either. You know, they just, and so I've always felt, Joe, you know, to be totally honest with you, I've always felt kind of lucky about my experience, because it didn't, I could have grown up in a different way. And, you know, I think part of it was the fact that my father was a college athlete. He played football at A&M for 2 years, and he was in the military, which is a very neutral organization when it comes to race and things like that. And so I just feel kind of lucky about the way I was raised, because not